we have this bearded alpha named Karl Marx.
Wow.
Wow is right. I'm showing Mary a picture of this just zaddy.
Oh my gosh.
Of
Look in the
communism.
hand inside the, I don't even know what he's touching inside there, about to pull out.
I mean, I have my hopes. What he's going to pull out of there. Some kind of manifesto of some sort.
History, I'd like to follow me down the rabbit hole. History, I'd like to, frankly, I want to know.
Hello, and welcome to HILF, History I'd Like to Fuck, where history is a party and everybody's coming. I am your host, Dawn Brody, and today we got the daddies of the two most dominant and feuding ideological forces on Earth. Yeah, Adam Smith, who invented capitalism, and Karl Marx, who invented communism. Two political and economic concepts which people have been fighting about for almost 2 centuries and are at the heart of almost every fight happening today, right? I mean, if you get into a heated conversation on any subject these days, and who is them, okay, and that conversation dissolves into a fight, many often end that fight by calling the other person some version of a fucking Marxist or capitalist pig, right? And as the doors slam in each other's faces, an echoing silence, right? You advocate for immigrant rights? Fucking Marxist. You're buying a gas-powered truck, you capitalist pig? Pro-universal basic income? Marxist? Using AI? Pig? You get it. So today, we go to the horses' mouths to find out what are fucking Marxists and capitalist pigs exactly. And despite the fact that plenty of bad guys have claimed their mantle, you know, we'll decide for ourselves if either one is actually a bad thing. I am joined by actress, comedian, and fellow Wisconsinite Mary Gallagher, and you join us at my kitchen table. Here's a cup of coffee. Let's get started. Oh, Mary, we're doing it.
This is thrilling
It's thrilling.
because we tried several times and now here we are.
We tried actively. We had in the calendar a subject and a date twice.
And the non-active going on in my head was like another 7 times.
Me and you both were like, oh, Mary Gallagher. I gotta get Mary Gallagher.
Not today. I'm not
today.
calling
gonna
her
work.
today.
Not calling her today. And then looking on the calendar, seeing Mary Gallagher and going, I don't think that's going to work.
And I'm like, look, I'll match you that because I'm not coming.
I
It's
can't
not
be there
working.
either. I'm not going to do it. And we were like, you know what, though? We never gave up.
We did it. We persevered.
It's true Wisconsinites. We were like, it's 100 degrees below zero.
Going out there.
I know I'm just going to put this hat and crunch the hair. I worked so hard to make it look nice.
I'm jumping in Lake Michigan because it's New Year's Eve
You know
or New
the
Year's
story.
Day.
Now, what region of Wisconsin?
Milwaukee suburb.
Fucking A.
Waukesha County.
Oh my gosh.
jeez.
No, were you a cheerleader there?
Oh, I wish I was that cool, Dawn.
Okay, yeah,
no,
me either,
tried out, just got laughed at.
Shit. See, I didn't even try out. I just called them cunts and smoked cigarettes because I was like, everybody wants to be a cheerleader. That's the hot truth. But like some of us just go, I have to pretend I don't.
You committed. I like that. I was in between all groups. I wasn't cool enough to do what you were doing, and I wasn't cool enough to be in the cheerleaders. I was just drifting all the time. I'm like, is this my group? No. Okay. Is this my group?
They were like,
no.
sorry, Mary.
Go.
But nobody dislikes you. I find it impossible to believe that anyone would dislike you.
Oh, thank you,
You're
Dawn.
so lovely. I mean, even your social media is my friend Mary.
Well, thank you. I am embracing that I love me now, right?
Good.
So, yeah.
Good. Well,
Yeah.
I think the world should. I would wear your t-shirt.
Thank you. I got some new merch coming. I appreciate that.
Okay.
Yeah,
good.
I want them to get a snail and have it say something like, you're already home.
Oh.
Like home inside your body.
Oh, shit. That's cute. I'd wear the shit out of that.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
You also gave me a children's book
that
you
Beatrice?
wrote. We read it.
Really?
It's so cute. And your daughter did the illustrations when she was...
She did not do the illustrations, but they were for her. Like it was done for her. But
so cute.
But she did. I do cartooning workshops, and she would often illustrate in those workshops.
I love that.
Yeah.
How old is your daughter now?
Oh, she's 19 now.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So as a mom, stand-up comic, living in LA, raising a daughter, how easy was it?
A lot of times I'd put her on stage in like a car seat and be like, sorry guys, I couldn't get a sitter. We're doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'd go with me everywhere.
I have her, I have pictures of her in a baby Bjorn grabbing at the microphone, and I'm like trying. And I remember thinking too that I could do jokes with her on stage that weren't about her, which is, you can't. That was, you know what I mean? That was, I'd be like, I really kind of want to work my my husband fingering me material, but I feel like you guys aren't gonna listen to that.
There's something going on that's a little distracting.
Right. So I'll just talk about
this is what
breastfeeding,
happens when your husband fingers you. This right here.
And but it goes, I mean, not exclusively fingering. It does have to proceed from there to get one.
That's
of those.
not what I believed growing up in Wisconsin, by the way.
They told you could get pregnant by getting fingered?
I just chose to believe that. I'm like, my name is Mary. I think I'm the Immaculate Mary.
Okay.
Jesus is coming back, and I think it's through me. So sometimes I thought I'm probably pregnant right now.
Because that's what happens to Marys.
Yep.
Wow. Yep. That's gotta be tricky to sleep. It's gotta be tricky to sleep because, I was just leaning on the pill.
Well, plus the church in our neighborhood was St. Mary's. So everywhere I went, I was like, I think I am bringing back the Christ.
Yeah, you're welcome. There had to be other Marys. There were no other Marys?
There's never any other Marys, Dawn.
Well, I suppose you're too young.
That's true.
There were older Marys.
Well, at the convent that I worked at, and I'm not joking, I did take care of 100 Marys, but it was just me and the 90-year-olds were Mary.
When they yell Mary, does everyone turn?
Yeah.
Oh, God bless it.
Yeah.
I love
and
that so
they
much.
called me the littlest nun.
Oh.
Yeah.
And were you ever in the convent? Did you ever think
I
of
certainly
joining?
feel like I'm headed there now in my
Sure.
life.
How do you go from aiming your headlights at 100 Marys, working in a convent, to telling jokes?
I feel like I took them along the whole time. Like
Right.
I do
you get
feel
them in
this.
the bus. Yeah.
I do feel this special kind of guardianness. I don't know. That's not a word. I do feel that all the sisters who were praying for me when I was working for them, when I was 15 years old, I took care of 200 nuns. I was a nursing assistant. Oof. And I do feel their presence and their, what is it called when you're looking over someone?
Their protection.
Yeah. Protection. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Oversight.
Yeah.
That seems bureaucratic.
I do feel all the time, because they'd always say, we're praying for you, Mary, we're praying for you. And I do feel that, like I feel their presence. And one of them was just so incredible. She spoke 5 languages. She was on Whose Life Is It Anyway? What is the big show in the 50s or 60s?
This Is Your Life?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. And there's clips of her online, and just this absolutely brilliant woman. Her name was Sister Caritas, and she really, really thought I was just fantastic, and I thought she was fantastic, and I feel her presence.
I think that's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, was part of what they were praying for, and part of like that presence, was that you coming out to Hollywood? Was that part of a dream?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I do feel like they helped me get up and out the door and moving to Hollywood. And, they probably were also like, don't make out with too many people.
Sure.
There probably was some sort of that.
Go to Hollywood, but don't be of Hollywood.
Yeah.
And you've done great shit.
Oh.
Man, I've got your credit. The Late Show with Colbert. I mean, dream, right?
Incredible.
Friends, How I Met Your Mother, Grey's Anatomy. You've got a Dry Bar comedy special out. I mean, you're doing great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dawn. I so enjoy it. I so enjoy comedy. I mean, just even as a even just the personal growth part of comedy, like, is just huge for me.
What do you mean by personal growth?
I feel like I've learned kind of all my lessons through stand-up comedy, meaning if I kind of closed off and isolated, it was stand-up that brought me out of it to get onto the stage. If I didn't know how to speak about something, it was stand-up comedy that taught me how to use my voice. If I was judging people, it was stand-up comedy that made me realize that I was in judgment, seeing other comics speak about something. I'm like, oh, never thought about it that way. So I feel like I kind of learned through stand-up.
Yeah, I feel a very similar way. I think I do view comedy, and specifically stand-up comedy, akin to spiritual church, a real divine connection between people that doesn't really happen quite like that anywhere else. And yeah.
Isn't it interesting that stand-up is such an isolated form on stage, but I find it's the community of stand-up comedy that I get most excited about. It's the collaboration. It's connecting with other stand-ups. It's about talking about getting into the weeds, with another stand-up about the history of it. I find it such a collaboration, and yet it is one person alone on stage. But for me, it's community in stand-up that I get most excited about.
I agree, because you're alone on stage, but the thing that makes it different than like a soliloquy or a lecture is that it is a conversation that is happening simultaneously, not just with every person who's in the audience, but with their subconscious.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're talking to them, but they'll laugh before they can explain why it's funny.
That's so true.
And so
it is a relationship the whole time you're in relationship. I mean, if you're any good, you're in relationship, right?
Right. That's the trick.
Right.
And then you can imagine friends who are listening who may not be in stand-up comedy, that the way we've just explained that divine connection, that we feel like it's like a church, which is why when you really bomb or you are like, okay, 100 people subconscious, buckle up. We're about to make sweet love of jokes. You're not laughing. Why aren't you laughing? That's shit. Well, Mary, we are fucking, of course, some extraordinary history today. So going in, my question is, are you a fucking Marxist or a capitalist pig?
I'm guessing I might lean more Marxist.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the family of origin that I come from, that's a weird way of saying it. My family
of origin,
definitely, thank you, is more capitalist pig.
Oh.
Right. And so I'm so interested in this conversation because I can't wait to find the inclusivity and the middle ground of all of this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I'm probably, if we have to pick extremes, I would say I'm probably a fucking Marxist, because I'm in a ton of unions.
Oh yeah, there you go.
And I'm kind of a bleeding heart liberal.
Yeah.
But I own property in LA, so I might also be a capitalist pig.
Yeah. Would you have somebody come and live here if they needed to?
Yes.
So doesn't that also then kind of put you back with
true.
Communal?
That's true. Also, I feel like any parent is a communist, in the sense that you're like, yeah, of course you can take my rubber bands. I guess my rubber bands are our rubber bands now. So we get it.
Yeah.
So before we get Adam Smith and Karl Marx thoroughly nude, I want to tell you about my sources for this history, Mary.
Ooh.
Okay.
Do it.
So I'm a nerd. I don't mind being a nerd. But sometimes when I reveal the depths of my nerddom, I still have to be like, hang my head a little bit in shame. So
I am so excited right now.
I read all the time. I usually have a book in my hand and a book in my ear, so that when I'm sitting down, I can read, and when I'm walking around, I can hear stuff.
And it's not the same book.
Sometimes it is. Usually it's the same subject.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
But when I am given a little extra time, or maybe I just need an extra little history hit, I will take a great course. The great courses, which are essentially lectures by some of the greatest educators from around the world, and you can just watch and or listen to their lectures on a million different things. And this one, the reason why Adam Smith and Karl Marx are on the mattress for us today is because I took a great course called "And the World Was Never the Same." 36 events that changed the course of history. And this professor, his name is Dr. J. Rufus Fears. He's amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Takes about 40 minutes per lecture and just starts with like how the world was before, what this thing changed, how the world was after. But he also links it to today and how we're still dealing with like the reverberations of this event or document or individual or whatever today. My toes are all curled up in my shoes. I yell out loud, "Oh my God," as I'm driving. It's like my Desperate Housewives, okay? And lecture number 23 was Adam Smith and Karl Marx. Cool. Adam Smith writes The Wealth of Nations and Karl Marx writes The Communist Manifesto. And the world was never the same. I listened to this lecture 3 times. It's only 40 minutes long. I couldn't stand how good it was. Then I read The Wealth of Nations. I skimmed. Admittedly, I did not read the whole thing. Das Kapital, which is Karl Marx's other like major work, right? I'm flipping through articles on The Economist magazine and The Economy Daily and like, and so much fun. Okay, so here is, and I was like, now what am I going to do? I know all this stuff. I got all these things. How it applies today. How am I going to do this episode now with Mary? So here's my plan for the Hill thing. Are you ready?
Yeah. Can I ask, those 2 major works,
yeah.
were they happening about the same time?
Adam Smith lived and wrote about 70 years before Karl Marx.
Okay, got it.
So Karl Marx is a response to Adam Smith.
Okay.
No problem. So here's my plan, and that's exactly the kind of question I love. My plan is to make you, Mary, and all our listeners, a bigger pain in the ass in all of your fights and conversations moving forward.
Great.
Which is not to say more aggressive. What I mean by pain in the ass, I want everyone to have their Goodwill Hunting moment. Okay, what I mean by that, if you remember the movie Goodwill Hunting with Matt Damon, he has this extraordinary moment in a bar at Harvard, right?
Yeah.
Where he's trying to woo Minnie Driver, and this blowhard, ponytailed, ascot wearing cunt, right, is like, starts to like cite Adam Smith to him, and it's like, your theories of economics, I bet you would. And Matt Damon gets to like quote his shit back to him, only cooler.
Wow.
Right? And that's what I'm hoping I can give you today. First, Adam Smith, broad strokes. What did he say? And what is this capitalism thing that he is the father of? What was he pitching?
Great.
Right? And then we're going to do Karl Marx.
Cool.
Same thing. Okay. And maybe you listen to this episode twice and then you go into Thanksgiving swinging.
I think I'm going to have a PowerPoint. There's going to be note taking, and I'm going to memorize a couple of jokes on top of it for what you're giving me.
I really can't wait to see the footage. I can't wait. So to get us in the mood, okay, before we jump into bed with these 2 guys, a story. Now, this is a story, Mary, about a beaver. It's a beaver story.
Aww.
So come with me to the streets of Shanghai, China in 1842. Okay, you and me are associates with this very rich English businessman. Okay. Walking the streets of Shanghai, and he is feeling fucking fantastic. Okay. He feels fantastic for 2 really specific reasons. One is he is in fucking Shanghai as an English businessman. My God. All right. You don't have to be a history major to know how much work has gone into everything every country has done for the last several hundred years to get to Asia. Mm-hmm. Right? The coasts of Asia, the markets of Asia, the Silk Road. It was where Columbus was fucking headed. It's where everybody's just, how do we get to China? How do we get to fucking get their stuff and get our trade there? And girl, we are not just in China walking on Shanghai. We have British ports for our boats in China. We fucking did it! Okay, holy shit. He feels great. Okay, the second reason he feels great is because he's wearing his beaver hat.
What
hat.
guy doesn't want a beaver hat?
I mean, it's the range. Exactly.
His face is in it.
Oh, he loves it. And this beaver hat, man, it's the hat for the man on the day. Okay. Everybody knows that beaver hats are the best, have been for the last 300 years. I ain't kidding. 1550 to 1850. Everyone on earth knows the beaver hat is the best goddamn hat you can get. Different shapes, different styles, but the best material because it is thick as shit. Combs down real nice. It's waterproof. People, your status is established by your beaver hat. You pass your beaver hat down.
Wow.
By generations. It's why we frankly fought so hard, and by we, I mean Spain, France, and England, fought so hard for North America was for the fur trade. Right? The beavers these hats are expensive because we fucking, once we realized these hats were so good, they hunted them to extinction in Asia and in Europe. And when they found beavers in North America, they were like, oh, fuck, good, because our hats are needing, right? And we've got generations of fur traders in America now, in Canada and North America, living in the Rockies, being fur traders, beavers. Okay. Now, I don't know where we went this night. Exactly what did. Opium, probably had some opium. Maybe we saw a show. It was a great night in Shanghai. What I do know is that our boss wakes up in the morning, no hat.
Ooh.
His beaver hat is fucking gone. Ooh. Oh, God. But it's probably no big deal, right? Because you're in China. China's got everything except fucking beavers.
Oh, wow.
Shit. That's why. Oh, no. And he's got to have a hat. If it can't be a beaver hat, it's got to be a hat.
90% of your heat's going right off the top of your head.
Exactly right. He can't be walking around with 90% of his heat just going into China unaccounted for. But he has to get a silk hat. Because, of course, it's China. We haven't been able to get silk as easy. Now I can. So I'll get a silk hat. And he wears it home. And everybody fucking loves it, Mary. And it becomes all the rage. And within 10 years, Mary, after 300 years of the beaver hat, in less than a decade, those fur traders in the Rocky Mountains are told, sorry, guys, nobody wants beaver anymore. Looks like you should learn to fish or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Now, the reason I tell you this story is because it is a perfect example of what Adam Smith would describe as the free market doing its beautiful free market thing.
Yeah.
Right? He is the father of capitalism, and that scenario to him is just like watching the beautiful crest of a wave on the beach.
Something new.
It's fantastic. Okay. And in his book, Wealth of Nations, which was written in 1776, which is why I'm going to show you a picture. I'm going to show you a picture of Adam Smith. He looks like
a founding father. Yeah.
Yeah. He looks like a founding father. He looks like Thomas Jefferson. He's got the little wig on. And this Wealth of Nations comes out the same year as the Declaration of Independence, girl. So picture that. But here's the voice I've given to Adam Smith is he's like really hippy dippy kind of dude, like for an economist in a wig, man. This guy is woo woo as fuck about how the economy works. Like he would have said to these fur traders, like, all right, guys, like, yeah, like it sucks that you can't like make beaver hats anymore, buddy, but the wheel of progress is moving forward. Yeah. And it might hurt a little, but like, enjoy the ride, man.
Touch the silk, right?
Touch the silk. That's exactly right. So here's the like, if my Dr. Rufus, right, was telling us here was the world before, and here's what Adam Smith did differently. Here's what Adam Smith like shattered was the entire concept of what wealth was. Mm-hmm. Up until Adam Smith, countries and individuals determined wealth by gold and silver. You just had to picture a room full of treasure.
Okay.
And the bigger that room of treasure, the more treasure in it, the more power you had. Because that gold equals boats. That gold equals everything. It's why when they came to the New World, they were just looking for actual gold. You know, that's why we like sometimes we look at it now and they're like, they just walked over tons of beautiful beachfront property.
Yeah.
You know, because they're not thinking about it like that yet.
Right.
They're just looking for the actual tangible gold, right? And so in the 1500s, they're like, we got to find gold. By the 1700s, by the time Adam Smith is around, it's still gold and silver, but we've like stopped looking for more of it. And we're just trying to like sell you stuff so you give us your gold and silver, right?
Yeah.
So it's all exports. We make shit, we sell it, you give us gold and silver, and we keep it in our treasure room. And in this way, we build our wealth and our power. And Adam Smith was like, hold on, wait, where? Like, what if, though, that's bullshit and all these empires have fallen because it doesn't work that way? He believed that there was this, and it is woo-woo because he calls it the invisible hand of the market. And he describes this like free market where it's almost like a force of nature. And as long as it's free, And as long as the government doesn't fuck with it and try to make it do anything in particular, like the currents and the tides, you make beaver hats, but then now it's silk hats. So people will just elegantly and effortlessly go into the silk trade instead. And the fur trader who might lose his job has a hero as far as Adam Smith is concerned. He's like, don't panic, guys. The businessman, who's just a little smarter than everybody else, a little more agile, sees things from like a higher view. They are like a balancing act where they're tasked with the noble job of creating the perfect product for just the right price, to go in just the right manner to just the right amount of people. And because the businessman is walking this elegant balance all the time, keeping all of these fragile balls in the air, he will always pay a fair wage, because otherwise he'll lose his labor, which means he wouldn't be able to make his products. And then people, so there's like, let this guy feel it out and do his magic, and everybody's gonna be fucking fine, right? Do you have any questions about any of this stuff?
I mean, it's just so divine, right? It's like creativity flowing. And I love how you explained that it's nature, right? It's nature at its finest. And then it's coming through with these different things and staying open.
Yeah.
I'm
and he's
all
like,
on board.
Totally. I know it's hard to, totally me too. I'm like, stamp.
Yeah.
I'm in, you know?
Yeah.
And he's also like, it becomes so interdependent. You have so many businessmen. Like you have the businessman who runs the textiles that make uniforms. He needs the factory worker to need uniforms. So they're all going to be, this division of labor will keep everybody so interdependent on each other that no one can ever fail. No one can ever fall.
It's a collab.
It's a collab. That's right. Not a commune. Right. Different deal. And he's like, and we have a government, and the government is going to want to fuck with this. And that's how the whole thing goes sideways, is if they force soybeans. They make everybody go into one business for one particular purpose, or they try to stunt something because it doesn't. He's like, as long as there's none of that, then it will work great. And what the government should do, according to Adam Smith, is just defend the country from enemies, protect us against crime, enforce contracts in court, some legacy infrastructure like bridges and roads and things that go beyond a generation, and then see that the currency is sound. Other than that, they should butt out completely. No regulation, no incentive, no accumulation of capital for just the government.
Okay.
Right? And I think you and I can agree, like growing up, like conservatives who describe themselves as politically conservative are often talking about these economic
really true, right? Fiscally conservative.
Fiscally, and they'll say, get the government out. You hear free market. You see your free market economy. You hear anti-regulation. And it's usually, this is the spinal column.
Okay.
Right, that they're climbing up and down. Any questions about our
Could
buddy
Adam Smith foresee the problems that were coming, or he's just like, no, do this and this is good?
I think he would have said, as long as it's free, it's good.
Okay.
He did acknowledge some. Like there's one particularly interesting conversation he has about landlords versus labor, the people who own the factories and run the factories versus labor, and the people who rent. And he says, I do see how the part of the problem is, he says, people who own the factories and who own the land, you know, and the workers will all be impacted by a negative, something bad happening to the market, the beaver hats, for example. He goes, but I see that like the owners have weeks, months, years to absorb that difficulty.
Wow.
Whereas the worker has days.
More vulnerable there.
So that's a problem. And he was sort of like, I can see how there may need to be some accommodation for that. So yeah.
Okay.
There was, but he also didn't necessarily know exactly.
Yeah,
how things were
exactly.
gonna go.
He's in bliss. He's not thinking too far ahead.
Exactly. So this is what I've queued up as your asshole moment for Adam Smith. Okay,
Great.
So here's the scenario I've painted. You're at Thanksgiving dinner, and it's your cuntiest cousin, okay? Red tie, okay?
Yeah.
Believes not only in Adam Smith's businessman, but that's him.
Great. Probably
That
a
I'm the
lapel
one.
pin of some kind.
There
on
might
the-
be a lapel pin, who knows? Exactly, right? And they're just really bulvating on how America is capitalist, period.
Okay.
And that capitalism is American, and that you can't separate American from capitalism. And this is, and like Tucker Carlson probably gets really hard when he gets to tell some co-ed, that Adam Smith published Wealth of Nations in 1776, and then he died in 1790, which is when we ratified the Constitution. Like, Adam Smith is America, okay? So here's what you get to do.
Okay.
You can let him finish, please. Don't interrupt, because they love to, let him go. Yeah. And then you hit him with this one. So you're saying that capitalism is the most American thing ever, okay? But Adam Smith is the father of capitalism. If they know that, great. You're going to have even more fun with what comes next. If they don't know that Adam Smith is the father of capitalism, lucky you. You just got to drop a HILF nugget on him at the very beginning. So Adam Smith is the father of capitalism. Adam Smith, of course, was British, okay? I.e. the enemy in 1776. And more than just being our enemy in 1776, he's the guy that Charles Townshend, the exchequer in England, came to after the French and Indian War, when England had accumulated a ton of debt to keep the colonies. And he turns to Adam Smith and says, Adam Smith, what do you think we should do with, we got this huge debt. How do we handle it? And Adam Smith said, I was thinking about this too. How about you tax the colonies? They'll love it. A stamp tax, maybe. Or a tax on tea. So not only is the father of capitalism the enemy of our founding fathers, how can you say capitalism is American when the founders of America were rejecting this exact man's economic policy?
Wow.
And then you can drop the mic. Go back to your pumpkin pie.
I love it. Wow.
Yeah. Now, on the other hand, my friends, let's just say the biggest asshole at your Thanksgiving table is a fucking Marxist. Oh, good for you. Good news. Good news. I've got some ammunition. I've got some good stuff for you to use against your fucking Marxist relatives, too. And we'll get to that when we come back from our break.
For 4 decades, Kylie Minogue has been a global queen of pop, ruling the charts in Australia, the UK, and across Europe. Though aside from a couple all-time smashes, stateside success has often eluded her. Pop Pantheon's new 4-part podcast series explores Kylie's enduring allure, fascinating eras, and her unique duality as a niche gay cult hero here in America and global phenomenon everywhere else. Join me, DJ Louis XIV, and some amazing guests as we travel light years through the Impossible Princess's classic hits and albums, iconic music videos, head-spinning reinventions, and all the delicious delights of nearly 40 years of indelible pop classics. Listen and subscribe to Pop Pantheon for free on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Before we get into the gulags, a moment for those who always manifest my O's. My patrons. The latest to jump in bed with the pod include Amadou Aissata Ba and Brit. These individuals, above average in both sex appeal and intelligence, help provide me with the books, subscriptions, and software I need to keep the history coming again and again. To be counted among their honored ranks. Find out more about the live shows, buy HILF merch, and oh so much more. Head over to patreon.com/HILF podcast or at HILF podcast on all social media. And
Follow me, follow me, follow me, follow. Follow me, follow me, follow me, follow. Follow me, follow me, follow me, follow. Follow me, follow me, follow me, follow.
do you want any more coffee?
I think I'm good. How about you?
I'm good.
I feel great.
Let's rock. Let's fuck Karl Marx.
Let's do it, girl.
Oh,
I'm learning
okay.
so much.
So our sweet guy, I mean, we met Adam Smith and like, I honestly, reading his books and like seeing his picture, I was like, what a sweet guy. Also, he was our enemy during the Revolutionary War, but he's Scottish.
Oh, okay.
So British, but like the Scottish.
He's up there. He's Mulligan Tire. That's where Paul McCartney lived on a farm. It's kind of gentle.
Gentle. The Scottish are never going to be that down with like English imperialism.
Right.
They're still right, like, fuck those gays. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure he had some. Also, he was He was a nerd. He was an absent-minded nerd. He apparently walked into stuff a lot. He dropped stuff a lot. He talked to himself constantly. He never married. He lived with his mom till he died. I mean,
love him.
What a sweet little nerd. On the other hand, Mary, we have this bearded alpha named Karl Marx.
Wow.
Wow is right. I'm showing Mary a picture of this just zaddy.
Oh my gosh.
Of
Oh, look, and the
communism.
hand inside I don't even know what he's touching inside there, about to pull out.
I mean, I have my hopes what he's going to pull out of there. Some kind of manifesto of some sort. Karl Marx. Now, you asked earlier, did they write at the same time, right? And we talked about Karl Marx is later. Okay, Karl Marx is born in 1818. He dies in 1883, which for nerds like me, here's what I do. 1818 is the year Frankenstein was published, and 1883 is the year after Billy the Kid was shot. So Karl Marx lived from Frankenstein to Billy the Kid.
That's how I would describe it.
Isn't that kind of
That's
interesting?
really
though?
cool.
Right?
I love how you think like that.
Span of history. But what this means is he's about 75, give or take. His main writings and the thrust of his ideas are coming about 75 years after Adam Smith.
Okay.
And if we know Adam Smith wrote Wealth of Nations in 1776, when the Declaration of Independence and short after that, the Constitution, 75 years is around the time of the Civil War, 1850, which means a lot of the documents that were the foundation of a lot of stuff are about 75 years later in the mid 1800s. People are going, I don't know. I don't know if that's exactly right. You know what I mean? I'm not sure.
I got questions.
Now that we've seen it in action, I kind of feel like maybe we're fucking it up.
Yeah,
And
it's a
maybe
whole
we're-
generation,
Right.
a whole life.
A whole life. And if you look at what's happened in that 75 years, girl, capitalism has been busy. Okay? From 1770 to 1850, we're talking the railroad is coming in. We are on the edge of industrial revolution, factories, cities, right? Haven't quite gotten the automobile and the airplane yet, but they're on the horizon. People are starting to find ways through technology and advancements that capitalism is fueling. And it is this wheel of progress that Adam Smith talked about is like, I mean, all over the world.
The printing press too, right?
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. And so we've got notes.
Okay.
Is what I'm saying. Karl Marx has had a chance to look at it, and he's got notes. And one of the things that Marx is looking at on the industrialization is these factories and the situation for the worker, right? And he's like, so Smith was like, it's a wheel, and yeah, it might crunch you every once in a while, and it might be uncomfy, and there might be bumps in the road, but this wheel is constantly moving towards progress. Take a look at the worker. No more progress. We're being left behind. We are being disproportionately crunched. We might not even be on the wheel anymore. I kind of feel like we're paving the road on which the wheel is rolling.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
And so the question of freedom in 1776 was a political question that was, who do I own? And who owns me? Right? What king claims me? Under what flag do I live? Under what laws and what courts? What taxes do I pay to whom? That's the question of freedom, right?
Right.
In 1850, it is an economic question that is not who do I own, it's who do I owe and who owes me. It's not a political question, it's an economic question, your freedom, right? So the tyrant is no longer the king, it's the market.
Wow.
Okay, so people are not controlled by the king's edict, but the bank's interest rates. The wages are what oppress you, if not the laws, right? So if the question is, history was going this way, and then there was Karl Marx. What changed? How did Karl Marx get into Professor Rufus's, 36 lectures? It's because up until, and this is also like, oh, I'm getting goosebumps and my toes are all curled up because I have a little thing for Karl Marx. I'm not going to lie. And one of the reasons why it's not just the beard and the shoulders, it is that he was a historian.
Oh, wow.
First. Like that was he was not like, I'm out here to fuck with politics. He's into history, man. Okay. And basically, historians throughout the study of history up to this point had been like, basically, guys, the entirety of human history is the struggle between religions. It's all, what religion are you? And they studied that for a while. And then the next wave of historians were like, no, fuck that. After Darwin, what we know is that all of human history is a struggle of biology.
Wow.
Survival of the fittest, what you eat, the whole deal. And they did that for another 100 years or so. And then historians are like, nah, fuck, it's not biology. It's ideas. All of human history is a struggle between ideas. This is a guy named Hegel, the thesis and the antithesis, and then it comes together, and this is how we go. And Karl Marx, who studied under Hegel, was like, sorry, bruh. Yeah, all right. Okay? All of human history is the struggle between classes. And you will be able to determine if a civilization or any given group is good or bad or functioning or not functioning based on how they produce their goods. And if they produce their goods with equality in the labor, then it's good. And if not, it's fucked. Mm-hmm. And the more he wrote, he was like, as I look at capitalism, I'll tell you why it's wrong. And this is Mary. I want you to hold on to your coffee with me because I am a fucking Marxist, probably. And if I am a fucking Marxist, it's because of the painful truth of these 6 things. Okay, Karl Marx said a lot more about communism than what I'm going to tell you. Know that this is Don's little HILF list, but this is like basically his beef with capitalism. Okay, these 6 things. He was like, girl, I'm paraphrasing. He was like, girl, modern work is alienated, meaning man is happy when they see what they make, what they produce. And the classic example is a chair. Man makes a chair and then he loves it. And you sit in that chair and he goes, fuck, I made that chair. Look at that guy sitting in my chair. He's so happy. But we don't do that anymore. Now because of factory and specialization, I make a piece of a chair. I spend all day carving one little piece of a chair and I never see the chair. And so I'm fundamentally unhappy because that's what capitalism makes me do. And you're like, yeah, right? You're nodding your head. Me too. It's like, yeah, that sucks. That's true. It's not as fun as making a whole chair. But then he's like, it gets worse. Let's just say, no, you're in a sweet little factory with you and your 4 best friends. And I may make one piece of the chair, but then we're all making it together. And at the end of the day, we see our chair and we love our little chair factory. You're still fucked because modern work is insecure. Right? And all of a sudden, people start wearing silk hats instead of beaver hats and fuck your chair. And you're still caught in this capitalist system of being arbitrary and feeling like your chair doesn't matter because chairs can suddenly not matter. That's what capitalism does to you. Then he's like, also, it's totally unfair, girl. Look around. Look at the way capitalism is doing it. The workers are working harder and harder and harder, making more and more awesome stuff. And we're not getting richer or better or healthier or more homes or better, more children. Like the only people who are getting rich are the oppressors, the owners of these places, right? This, by the way, was 150 years ago.
Wow.
So, and good thing is it's not gotten any better. He also says capitalism is unstable. He had not yet lived through the stock market crash of 1929, but there had been plenty of panics, right? Bank closures and all sorts of horrible financial. And he's like, girl, capitalism loves that shit. Capitalism lives for that shit. Capitalism is boom or bust. And he's like, and you know what sucks even worse is all of these panics aren't because we're running out of things. It's not scarcity, it's surplus. We could right now have a car for everyone, food for everyone. We all know we could make homes and clothes and food for every single person. But we can't because we have to create scarcity. We have to create demand. The market demands it.
It's like all these bubbles, and then they were burst.
Exactly. This was one that really touches my heart. He says the other crime of capitalism is that it renders human leisure a sin. He says, you see a man walking barefoot in a field and you think, what a waste. Why is that man wasting his time? He should be out there producing for himself, for his family, for his farm, for his boss, for his military, for something. Why is he not using his labor to produce, right? You look at a child painting and you think they'll never sell a painting. They'll never be a painter. What's the point? And that capitalism has robbed us of just basic human leisure. And then he sets the real icing on it as he says, hey, capitalists, capitalism is bad for you too. You ain't happy, admit it. He's like, I see these bourgeois marriages, these middle-class marriages are reflecting their financial situations where you're trying to marry for position and does he know my dad and she knows my thing and we'll have a better house than so-and-so and it's not for love and everyone's unhappy in their marriage. And he's like, and they can't sleep at night because they're committing crimes against their own conscience. He's like, people are saying, I hate slavery. again, this is 1850. It's a horrible institution that just demeans human, but it's the market. I mean, I can't have my cotton without my slaves. So, and he was like, that's enough. And he's like, and there will be, he foresees in his writing, a utopia, a worker's paradise. He says, here's what's going to happen. The workers will be so oppressed. This system will continue to be unjust to the worker, to the point where the bosses and the oppressors will win. And they will never have to think about what the workers want or what the workers need anymore. And they will turn on each other. And they will devour their competition. And they will create enormous monopolies that have nothing to do with goods and nothing to do with the public good. And they'll just create these incredible monopolies. And then they'll start fighting with each other, which will even further reduce the situation of the average worker. And that, he says, is when the worker will fucking wake up.
Wow.
Realize what I realize, which is the divisions among them from religion, from ethnicity, from geography will be wiped away, and they will see they are all one class, and that this has always been a class thing, and they will rise up against the class with violence if necessary, destroy the government, destroy the system completely, and then not replace it. We will ultimately have a stateless, propertyless utopia where everyone is provided for according to their needs. Any questions about that?
No.
Sounds great,
Totally
right?
following.
Kind of sounds like Adam Smith's Beautiful Ocean Market, where like you hear it and you're like, shit,
Yeah.
that sounds great.
Yeah.
I think he's so right about all that stuff, right? And he, in his lifetime, he sees as the Civil War goes on, he's like, yep, there it is. People can't stand it. They're rising up. They're starting to see it's not about race. It's about class. Then there was a lot of people in the West, in America don't know, around the same time as the Civil War, the serfs in Russia rose up and rejected. And there was, like, we had the Emancipation Proclamation. In 1861, they had the Emancipation Manifesto.
Wow.
So, and so Karl Marx was like, yeah, bitchin', here we go. And then in 1883, he goes ahead and dies. That is decades before any government or system of politics was like, we are communist. We are Marxist. He's been dead for over 30 years before there is a organized movement that starts to interpret what you mean. When you say
what did he die from?
everybody rises up. That's a good question. I don't know.
It's like brain aneurysm for thinking all this?
Maybe. I mean, he was in his 70s.
Oh, he was. Okay.
So I don't know what it was, but it wasn't a foul play.
Okay.
Because he wasn't really a threat.
No, not
I mean,
at all.
not really. Like, capitalists didn't feel threatened as far as I can. But he was unpopular. You know what I mean? Capitalists don't like hearing this. He had a hard time getting published. He would write all these newspapers and people would be like, oh, no. You know what I mean? So he wasn't exactly celebrated, but he wasn't that vilified.
It's not what I have in my mind from the image of that name that, you know.
Exactly. And the trick is, part of the reason why is because, like, even self-proclaimed Marxists don't agree on what a Marxist is. In the exact same way that you'll have a Christian say, you can't be a Christian if you're pro-choice. And you go, yeah, I can. Look, watch. I'm doing it right now. You know what I mean? There's just, you can't actually tell other people what ideology you don't define, right?
Yeah.
So when you hear Donald Trump, for example, just point his finger at the camera and be like, they're communist, Marxist, socialist, fascist, you're like, those are four different things.
Wow.
And even if you just took one of them, even that thing is, what are you talking about, right?
Wow.
So what I'm going to do now is try to explain, when people call you a fucking Marxist, how you can be like, okay, but I'm the magenta mango flavored version of fucking Marxist. And you can go ahead and save yourself from the, like, were those the ones with the gulags and the executions? I don't want to be one of those. I want to be the nice kind of, like, Bernie Sanders kind of communist, right? So if the question is, okay, Karl Marx wrote this stuff, he described what the utopia was, what everybody after him was like, right, how? How do you get people to recognize they are all one class? And do we do that by oppressing them? No, they said we hate they called them oppressors. Oh, am I an oppressor? I mean, it's wonderful stuff. So here's how it breaks down. 1917 is the Russian Revolution. Okay. And our guy, Vladimir Lenin, is the first one on earth to be like, I have established a socialist communist state. We took down the Tsar. No more monarchs in Russia, girl. We the people are doing this Marxist style, okay? And he wins. Then there's a civil war. He wins the Russian Civil War. He establishes that one party. Hot. Marx said they all got to come together and do one party. Hot. Lenin did that. Yas. And he calls it the dictatorship of the proletariat. Okay. Already, exactly. Our eyes start to go, don't love that
Stop.
word.
Okay. Yeah.
And he is kind of like, yeah, totally. We need everybody to come together and unite. And if you don't, we kill you. And you're like, okay.
It's very clear.
Very clear. But he is very successful, okay? But he's not immortal. And in the 1920s, you have what you have in every system, good or bad: faith, politics, economic, corrupt or wholesome. When the king's about to die, people start to feed. Who's next? Who takes his place? Who's the acolyte? Who's going to be the one up? And the people snapping at Lenin's heels to be the next big communist leader in the world, to pick up the mantle of the first communist leader of the world, is Stalin versus Trotsky. Do you know who Trotsky is?
No.
So cute. He's got these like little wire rim glasses. Cutest nerd ever. You would have seen him around Madison a lot. This kind of nerd walking with his like socks and sandals. Very cute. Trotsky and Stalin were basically fighting for who gets to take over communism after Lenin. And Stalin basically was like, totes in, hardcore on the communism. And he was like, in Soviet Union. We are going to make the Soviet Union communist. That's our goal, primary goal, one country communism. And Trotsky was more like global communism, baby. No state. Like if we're trying to do a stateless, landless thing, then we can't even be thinking about it as the Soviet Union. We need to be thinking about
borders.
global proletariat.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't work. So when Stalin appears to be taking power, he exiles Trotsky, tries to kill him a ton of times, ultimately does kill him. Get this. Trotsky dies in Mexico City via an ice pick to the brain.
Wow.
Hot.
That is some fancy shit going down there.
He lived for a while too. He fought the guy
He did?
with the ice pick in his head.
Wow.
And was like, this sucks. And then they took him to the hospital. He dies. Like, it takes a minute for him to die. But like Trotsky with the ice pick fights off the guy. It's amazing. With his little glasses. So cute. But this, of course, big deal because it's 1939. The World War II is cooking. And if it would have been Trotsky instead of Stalin in the Soviet Union, I mean, who knows? That's one of these amazing things. Mm-hmm. But this Stalin's version of communism is what really sweeps the nation. His Marxism, Leninism is what the North Koreans jump in and their man Laos fucking loves it. Vietnam's like, sign us up. China, yes, please. This, of course, is how we get the Cold War, post-World War II, which is just a communism versus capitalism globally.
Wow.
That's our new fight.
Really severe ends now, I can see.
Exactly,
Right?
exactly. And like Mao Zedong, who was the leader of China, who's like, I think communism sounds really good. I like this a lot. His twist on it is we don't have so much factories here. So the peasants would be the proletariat that rises up. And his was more of like an agrarian sort of peasantry, but generally functioning on the same idea. And then, they, like all things, there's a spectrum. Socialism is like, yeah, there should be no ownership, meaning we own everything as this people. Mm-hmm. So there's, again, it's like, I am a Lutheran. I do believe in gay marriage. I think you should be baptized, but it doesn't matter. Everyone's picking and choosing. Any questions on any of that stuff?
Just noticing that socialism, you first said that right around, I think, early 1900s. That was the first time I heard you say that word within context of this. So I'm assuming socialism is the specific part of communism that is more that general kind of vague everybody owns.
You're exactly right. And in the writings like Marx and Lenin, when they would write, they kind of used communism and socialism almost interchangeably. Now, because of all the interpretations and all the meanings, these are very concrete things. And usually people, when they want to know the distinction, they're usually after something really specific. You know what I mean? Which is, are you healthcare? What do you think? Exactly. Do you think that, because there's like a libertarian version of both of these.
Wow.
You know what I mean? There's your libertarian who thinks capitalism is the way to go. And their libertarianism is just really free market. Free market, like, yeah, child labor.
Yeah.
Like if a company wants to do child labor, the government should not be able to tell them that they can't. If the people refuse to buy their product, then that's the market deciding. They shouldn't, but there's also libertarian, kind of more communist, Marxist side of things that are similarly like, get the government out of my life because we should be doing this communally as a social, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. There's so many ways to cut something up, and these are the specific cuts for every, term that you're saying or every label. That's the definition is you got to, here it is. This is the specific part of what this means.
Right.
Right. And so I'm assuming, pros and cons to all of it.
Exactly. So, and that's why these words are thrown around. You fucking Marxist. You probably mean if you're really, you think that everyone should just open up their doors. The homeless people out on the street should be able to just come and move into my living room. I don't have property. Nobody gets to own anything. I've worked really hard. I've invented something. You're saying I should never be able to get rich. And you're like, no, like that's not necessarily like it's
quickest
crazy.
way to shut down a conversation.
Yeah.
These general kind of like I statements, right? That just kind of throw you into okay, well, that's not what I meant.
That's not what I meant. And the other side, you capitalist pig. You think that everyone should be able to make as much. And you're like, Jesus, man, Which to that end, let me help you be an asshole.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
So let's say we talked about your red tie wearing capitalism is American relative. Let's just say that the cuntiest cunt in Cuntville.
That's in Wisconsin,
actually.
actually.
In Wisconsin, right? It's right by Pittsville, actually. Is the socks and sandals wearing, blue-haired, bull nose, ring piercing, too liberal, right? Who is just giving everyone a lecture on how money is evil and owning a property or being a landlord basically makes you the man.
How dare you?
How dare you? Well, and you just hope that they say Marx. You want them to say Marx because what you get to say is, oh, that's a really interesting point. I love your hair, by the way. But I'm sure you know that Karl Marx was only able to write the Communist Manifesto and Das Kapital, his largest and most influential works, because he was funded by a very, very rich capitalist.
Boom.
Friedrich Engels, who was not a capitalist in his ideology, but was incredibly rich and made a lot of his money in the market.
Wow.
And he believed very sincerely in everything Karl Marx was saying, and he provided him with a stipend and a salary so that he could leave Germany where he wasn't safe, and he could write all of his books.
Can you give me the name again?
Friedrich Engels was Karl Marx's very, very rich sponsor, which just goes to prove that every fucking Marxist needs a capitalist pig.
Wow.
And vice versa.
Oh my gosh. Wow. It's fascinating.
Yeah. And man, I'm sure that people occasionally listen to podcasts other than this one. They shouldn't, but they do. And a lot of these like crypto bros and various like modern economic guys are really mic dropping when they quote Wealth of Nations or they quote the Communist Manifesto. And I just hope that I have in some small way given you an understanding of what they're talking about.
You really did.
Hopefully some.
Yeah. And just seeing how we're all connected, right? So this end and this end is all, it's a circle. It's not a line.
Exactly. I think extremism is as dangerous as prohibition.
Yeah.
And when we get into all or nothing, it's going to be nothing every time.
Wow, that was brilliantly laid out.
Hey.
And I like that it was these two very kind of simple examples. You know, you didn't give us a whole list of things we could say. It was this or this. I can latch on to that.
Yeah. I would also like to write a short play where Adam Smith and Karl Marx get to meet
Oh,
and like
that'd be
hang
cool.
out in maybe some like afterlife conference
yeah.
room, because I think they'd like each other.
Yeah.
Because Karl Marx wasn't like, fuck Adam Smith. He was actually like, I mean, I really like the idea too, you guys.
Right?
like,
Like a conference room, like a community center at the
Yeah,
park. But then also there's some coffee there from the local, shop down the road. So it's got
exactly. They can share a communal scone that one or the other of them bought. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because like Karl Marx was like, Adam Smith was so right about it not being silver and gold. Like among the things they would have agreed on is like something is only valuable because labor went into it. Mm-hmm. Like your labor, your work is what makes a thing worth something. And they both would have been like, yeah, fuck yeah. Totally, bro.
Right?
You know?
Oh, that would be a good play, Dawn.
Okay, good. And it'll be, you and I will play them.
Absolutely.
I want to be Marx though.
I will go ahead and actually do Smith.
Okay, great. Because here's the good news too, is he was such a weirdo. Like what fun. Like the personal descriptions of him were like, he always had a weird expression on his face and talked to himself a lot. There's one story about him going on a tour of a tannery with this guy, because it's a factory, and like seeing how the industry is working.
Tannery is like where the hides go?
I think it's, yeah, like they
make it
skin the
leather?
animals and then,
Okay.
yeah, they stretch it out and
Okay.
treat it and all that stuff.
Okay.
And he fell into a vat of something, and like 3 guys had to help get him out. And like that kind of thing happened all the time. They were like, he's just always falling into stuff, dropping stuff, walking into walls.
He was the Lucille Ball of his time
Yeah,
with the
exactly.
pratfalls.
There's so much physical comedy in this play.
Yeah. And maybe he was doing that because, maybe he was trying to get people to laugh. It's like, hey, don't take any of this too serious. Ba-bump, ba-dum-bump. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, did you hear the one
Right.
about only you've got to be Scottish, Mary, can you do a Scottish accent?
Oh, I could try.
I'll take it. If I'm Karl Marx, then I've got to be a German.
Okay.
Which is also...
sounds good.
I try to be German. And do I like this? That's right. Okay, tune
I'll
in.
take both of those.
Okay, well, listen, friends, you join us on Patreon and we'll send you tickets to the hit new musical,
Done.
Adam and Karl.
Starring 2 chicks from Wisconsin.
Thanks again to Mary Gallagher. Go to the show notes right now and you can find links to her upcoming live shows, social media, as well as the merch she mentioned at the beginning with the little snail on it. So cute. As for me, your next new episode is right around the corner. And if you're in the Los Angeles area, of course, you can always catch HILF Public School, the live interactive version of this podcast, which happens on the first Thursday of the month at Flappers Comedy Club in Burbank, California. Listen, I love meeting listeners there. Okay, so you simply must say hi if you're dropping by. And until we meet again, our theme song was composed and performed by Kat Perkins. Artwork for HILF is designed by Joe Dressel. And a reminder that you can find my sources, links to the books, documentaries, and articles I reference in the summary of this episode or by emailing us, hilfpodcast@gmail.com, or messaging us on social media @hilfpodcast. If you'd like to leave a little cash on the nightstand, that'd be so nice. You can find me on Patreon or buy me a coffee. Links to these and more are all in the show notes. This has been HILF, History I'd Like to Fuck with Dawn Brody. I'm Dawn Brody, reminding you that history is a party and everybody's coming.